Welcome back. Now you, the voter of Tamil Nadu, went out, stood in the long winding queues, inked your finger and elected your local minister. But have you thought for a split second even how proactive on the ground these men and women are? How much of follow-through is really there on poll promises? Well, NDTV Hindu is doing just that with our series of MLA Monitor. On today's radar is the 1000 Lights star winner, Miss Valarmati.
It's early morning, but Valarmati is already out, wanting to touch base with the people of 1000 Lights. Having faced a tough fight in the April 13th elections, Valarmati is now trying to nurture the constituency which had, after all, been former DMK Deputy Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's home turf. So, she takes the Meet the People trips quite seriously.
முக்கியமான பிரச்சனைகள் குடிநீர் பிரச்சனை. அதாவது குடிநீரும் கழிவுநீரும் கலந்து வர்றதா சில குற்றச்சாட்டுகள் சொன்னாங்க. அதெல்லாம் உடனடியாக தீர்க்கிறதுக்குரிய சம்பந்தப்பட்ட அந்தந்த வட்டத்தில் இருக்கக்கூடிய அலுவலர்களோட தொடர்பு கொண்டு சரி செய்யணும்னு கேட்டுட்டு இருக்கிறேன்.
As we watch, Valarmati walks into the corporation playground, taking everyone by surprise. But the young men recover fast and tell her they need a good gym and clean drinking water facility in the grounds. She promises to look into it all.
மாண்புமிகு அம்மா அவர்கள் அறிவித்திருக்கின்ற பல்வேறு நலப்பணிகள் மக்களுக்கு போய் சேருகின்ற விதத்திலே நாங்களும் பொதுமக்களோடு இணைந்து இப்பொழுது அவர்களுக்கு கிடைப்பதற்கு வழிவகைகளை செய்து கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். இது மிக முக்கியமான பிரச்சனைகள், மக்கள் எதிர்பார்க்கக்கூடிய பிரச்சனைகள், பல பிரச்சனைகளை என்னுடைய கவனத்துக்கு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. அதெல்லாம் மாண்புமிகு புரட்சித் தலைவி அம்மா அவர்களின் நேரடி பார்வைக்கு எடுத்து சென்று அதையெல்லாம் தீர்ப்பதற்கு நிச்சயமாக நடவடிக்கை எடுப்பேன் என்று தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன்.
Water and basic amenities, this is what everyone here wants. And Valarmati, who entered politics in 1972, seems ready for the challenges ahead. After all, it's her third stint as an MLA. And she seems to be aware that today, winning elections is just the first step. Nurturing the constituency is a full 24/7 job. In Chennai, with reporter Lalit Jude, Kuku Alex for NDTV Hindu.
Well, talking politics, the leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha and senior BJP leader Sushma Swaraj was in Chennai today. When asked about the draft for the Lokpal bill, she said the government was yet to send the Lokpal draft to the opposition parties.
When the finance minister wrote a letter to our president, national president, he wrote back that you first bring the draft before us, then we will give our view. No, they have not sent. That's why I am saying they should call this session, and if they want to put both the drafts, let them put both the drafts before the parliamentarians. Well, that's what I am saying. Well, before seeing the draft, how can we tell? First we would like to see the draft. What are the provisions in the draft? Then we would decide to support or oppose or to amend.
Well, the BJP leader also spoke about the news around the bugging of Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee's office and has called for an immediate probe.
No less a person than the Finance Minister wrote a letter and then also to the Prime Minister. So it needs thorough probe. That only the investigation will reveal. I want investigation. The truth will be revealed by the investigation.
Moving on. Now, with banks taking a cue from the RBI on the lending rate, the common man finds that loans are only getting more and more expensive. So while you are reaching out to your calculators to work out the math before opting for a car or a home loan, our business correspondent Ashmit Kumar makes it much easier with this story.
The banks at the moment have not responded with any increase in the base rate. However, we will review it at a later date, depending upon the credit growth and the liquidity in the system.
In simpler words, no immediate hike in your loan rates. But don't start singing Jai Ho just yet. Take a look at the bigger picture. Thanks to the RBI rate hikes over the last 15 months, banks have been under pressure to hike lending rates or the rate of interest on loans. In fact, over the course of the last few months, the banks have indeed upped the interest rates. But many smart customers, however, are sidestepping the interest burden by pumping in more money as down payment.
Interestingly, what we are noticing now, people are coming up with 30%, 40% down payment. The initial payments are made by them. Then they are going for the bank loan and the rest of the portion. So by doing that, they are trying to reduce the home loan. By this way, I think the customer is managing the price hike and trying to reduce their burden in the overall scenario.
But what if you have already taken a massive housing loan? What options do you have? The answer is not many.
So here's the story of Mr. Sendil and his family, a man who, just like any one of us, took a loan from the bank to finance his dream of being able to own a house. Now, one thing he didn't bank on, however, was the spiraling cost of interest. Now, he knew that pain was due, but interestingly and quite unexpectedly, the EMIs weren't being hiked.
The interest is calculated in their own format and the EMI is not disturbed. Their normal perception is I am paying the EMI, which is not disturbed, but the duration is calculated.
Calling this strategy sweet poison, customers express helplessness as banks extend the loan duration while leaving the EMIs untouched. And with further hike in interest rates by the RBI likely, it appears to be a period of increasing burden for the consumer. In Chennai with reporter Ashmit Kumar, Kuku Alex for NDTV Hindu.
Let's get on with some national news now. There's been good news coming for many across the nation who've been eagerly waiting for the return of the 6 sailors. The MV Suez has finally reached Karachi. After 10 months, 6 Indians who've been in the custody of pirates will be home soon. The Indian High Commission has sent a senior official to Karachi to speed up the formalities so as to get the sailors back home. The sailors were transferred to Pakistani vessels PNS Babar and to even PNS Zulfikar after the Egyptian ship began to sink. Families of the Indian sailors have been waiting for over 10 months now for their rescue, which was facilitated by Pakistani human rights activist Ansar Barni. There's more trouble for Uttar Pradesh's Chief Minister Mayawati, who's already under attack for the deteriorating law and order situation in her state. The mysterious death of Deputy CMO in the Uttar Pradesh Family Welfare Department, Dr. Sachan, in jail, has triggered protests across the state. Samajwadi Party workers, in fact, clashed with the police in Lucknow. The protesters were demanding a CBI probe, a demand that's now been taken up by the BJP and the Samajwadi Party, who allege that Dr. Sachan was killed as part of a cover-up. Sachan's superiors had accused him of financial irregularities in purchase of drugs and equipment under the National Rural Health Mission. The UP government has suspended 5 jail staff and has ordered a judicial probe. Now, the Indo-Pak Foreign Secretary level talks have begun in Islamabad, but there are no great expectations of any big-ticket announcements after the talks. Islamabad had already made it clear that terror will not be on the agenda of the 2-day talks between the foreign secretaries of India and Pakistan. Ahead of the talks, Indian Foreign Ministry sources has said that the slow progress in the 2611 trial and CBMs for Jammu and Kashmir are high on the agenda. However, India is keeping expectations low. A quick look at how gold and silver have been doing today. When we come back, we tell you who is going to take the box office hit with them tomorrow. It's a pitched battle between the lover boy of boys and Munna Bhai.